Hey guys, Charles from Halt's Boots here. Today we're going to be looking at the Adidas Speedportal Point 1.
Okay, so we're gonna go in and do a little unboxing for these Speedportal Point 1s. I did get a size 9. I'm gonna be interested to see how the fit is. I tried the launch colorway in an 8.5 just because 9 is just a little too long in the toe. But in order for me to have that comfort in the sides of my feet, I need to just go with that 9 instead of 8.5. So we're gonna go ahead and open them up here. Just real quick, it's just the same black Adidas box, or light gray now with the black stripes. Open her up here. And I do have to say, this new, I can't remember the name of the colorway, but just this like berry color, I really do enjoy. I think it complements the boot pretty well with just the black upper on the knit, and then you have the rest of the boot just like that pink. The sole plate's like metallic-y, pinkish purple, still with that stability wing, and overall it's a good boot. I mean, you can see here, it's got just like the plastic covering. It almost looks like a bunch of like dimpled hexagons instead of the Carbitex, which honestly I don't think is going to make a big difference. The sole plate still feels really stiff and has a lot of energy return, a lot of that spring back. So really having the Carbitex in the first place, I'm going to be curious if it really even mattered, if it was just one of those weird selling point things. But other than that, yeah, it's still the same sole plate minus the Carbitex, still exactly the same studs, everything like that. I do think this sole plate is actually very good for turf. When they make the AG sole plate, they only add 1 or 2 more of these studs here. It's all still, I believe, the same stud. I'll have to double check, but for the most part, like this boot, with just how non-aggressive these studs are, even though they're triangular, should have no problem wearing on turf or grass. So we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna just jump into the tech specs and get everything rolling.
Hey guys, real quick, before we go any further into this video, make sure you check out our website, haltsboots.com, where we have tons of boots ranging from retro to the newer models. So head over there, use discount code YouTube for 5% off your next purchase. All right guys, so now we're just gonna jump into the tech specs of the Speedportal Point 1. So starting with the upper, they kept the knit here. They still have the speed skin upper, still has all these tiny little bumps and ridges. I believe those are rubber, just kind of to help with grip on the ball, just like you see with most Predators. Nothing really has changed, nothing's really different. Still pretty much the same boot when it comes to the upper. If we take a look at the heel here, it still has the single padding here in the heel. It's not separated at all, just to kind of help with comfort, alleviate some of that pressure or pain on your Achilles or your heel. I do think that there may be a slight possibility you'll get a blister from this part right here. It's some sort of synthetic, like rubbery band material that runs all the way up to the top of the knit piece in the heel. So just be aware if you do have these. I haven't heard much of people getting blisters from that, but that's one thing I would look out for if you're one of those psychopaths who wear ankle socks instead of crew socks or grip socks when you wear football boots. But other than that, I do think you should be fine. Now here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. You have the same stability wing sole plate in the heel counter here. Instead of a full heel counter cup, they just kind of kept it along the bottom and then threw these stability wings on the side. The heel counter here, if you can see me press in, is still relatively solid, so I don't think there's really a difference. It might just be looks with the stability wings here more than actual support. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't really think that if you're looking at this boot and you see it has these stability wings instead of a normal heel counter, that it's a game changer or something that you should or shouldn't buy the boot based off of that. I think you'll be fine. And for the change that everybody's been talking about, there is no Carbitex anymore in this sole plate. It's still the same exact sole plate above where the Carbitex used to be, still has the same FG stud pattern, kind of triangular or chevron shaped studs here. I think the sole plate is fine for turf or for grass. I really don't think that this is a dangerous sole plate or aggressive sole plate to wear on turf. Most sole plates you'll see on the market that are FG work just fine on AG or turf. So nothing to be concerned about there. But when we do start talking about this plastic here, that's again the big highlight of this boot, what you've probably heard of or seen from a lot of people who review boots or just from your friends, that it is now plastic. And if you look closely here, you can see it's just kind of like a dimpled plastic, almost like a honeycomb texture or a golf ball. I don't know what this plastic is called, other than if there is a name for it, if it's just plastic now. I don't think the change really means anything for this boot. And what I mean by that when I say I don't think the change means anything is the whole point of the Carbitex was to provide a lot of energy return and snapback. So if you see here, the boot snaps back super quick.
It's super, super rigid. It is a little flexible, but you still have that same spring back. And if I actually get a pair here of the launch colorway that does have this Carbotex insert on it, it's the same thing. So if anything, it's a little louder, but it still has the same energy return, the same snapback. So other than maybe a cost reason for dropping the Carbotex, or a supply issue, or just not re-signing a contract with Carbotex itself, I don't really think this boot is any different. Maybe it is a 2.0 version because it doesn't have that Carbotex, but with the plastic, I think you're still getting the same boot. It's gonna weigh, I'm sure, almost exactly the same, maybe a slightly heavier, but when we're talking 2, 3, 4 grams, I really don't think that's something you can notice. So my thoughts going into testing these on feet, I just hope that they fit my foot right. I had an issue where actually this pair here is an 8.5, and it fits me lengthwise almost perfectly, but widthwise it's just way too tight on my foot. So this time I'm going with the size 9 for this, if you will, 2.0 colorway or boot. And I think that there might be a little bit of extra room in the toe, but I'm hoping that the width is perfect. For me, I think width is the most important thing before it fits in your toe, as long as you're not a size and a half off. So yeah, not really super high expectations other than just hoping that it fits my foot right, I guess. All right, with that, so I'm gonna jump into some training sessions over the next few days, and we're gonna conclude the rest of this review coming up. All right, guys, so it's been a couple of days. Got a few sessions in these. I actually just came back from a training session wearing these Speedportals. And to be honest, they're just okay. I was not blown out of the water by them. I wasn't super let down by them either. I think they're just an average boot. I did really enjoy the sole plate. I didn't really feel a difference with the Carbotex being absent with now it's plastic. I said earlier that I didn't really think it would be a problem or a difference, and I was right there, at least in my opinion. It felt kind of the same for me. I did like the knit upper part at least. The speed skin on this boot is not something I personally enjoy. It was okay. I didn't feel my touch was as good, or that I could really feel the ball as well in these boots. So whether that's personal preference, whether that's just how the boots are, could be either. I didn't mind the upper with these boots. The knit part always feels good, just like on their other speed boots. The sole plate was pretty nice overall. I wore it on a pretty nice turf field a couple times, and it performed very well. So it wasn't really aggressive. Studs aren't super long. Didn't have any issues with studs catching or when I was cutting, turning, anything like that. The speed skin, I did have a little bit of issue with breaking in. It's not that it's super stiff, but it wasn't exactly, it's not like a soft upper either. It's kind of its own thing. And it's not something I prefer. I didn't really feel like I had a good touch on the ball or a feel for the ball in these boots. So it's probably not something I'll keep in my rotation. It's just personal preference. I know a lot of people really like these, but for me, I think it's an average boot. And nothing really special to write home about. So for the heel counter, I was correct in that it was mostly just for show. I didn't really feel a difference in there at all. It's still super stiff up until you hit the top of the boot where you can push in a little bit there. No real issues there. The padding was okay on my heel. I don't really know if I like it or not. You can definitely feel that padding in the heel there, that whole one-piece padding. It's just kind of a mixed emotions for me, because sometimes you can feel it and kind of like brings your mind to it. You know there's a foam padding or like a plush padding there, and then other times you don't feel it. So could just be me being weird, not really sure. I think a 9 overall is the right choice for me. I did have a little bit of room in the toe, and I said before, I went with the 8.5s in the launch colorway of these that had the Carbotex, but I think 9 is the way to go. So if you wear 9 in Adidas, I'm fairly certain these boots will fit you. Now, in length, in terms of width, I don't think these boots are really for people with wide feet, so someone like myself. It's not that it's not super narrow, but it just doesn't really stretch that well. I think because of the speed skin upper, the synthetic material, it's just gonna take you a bit longer to break these boots in. I don't have a whole lot of time to break boots in just because we're trying to get as many boots through and reviewed. So maybe if you spend a good week you know, wearing these boots 20, 30 minutes at a time, then taking them off, wearing something else for the rest of the session, you'd really start to break them in, but that's just not the luxury I have. So overall, decent boot. Nothing really special about it, just kind of average. I don't think they're the best for wide feet. So if you have wide feet, maybe go with the new Predator Accuracy. I haven't gotten a pair of my size yet, but I've heard that the Predator Accuracy is perfect for wide feet. Same with the Predator Edge. So maybe if you have wide feet, stick with something like a leather boot, the Copas, but probably not this specific speed boot. So if you have wide feet, go with the Copa, go with the Predator Edge or Predator Accuracy. If you have wide feet, again, just maybe not this boot. Again, I do have super wide feet, so from my perspective, anything that doesn't fit my feet isn't good for wide feet, just because I don't have, I guess, regular feet or narrow feet. So maybe you give them a try if you're at a store, try them on, see how you like them. For the most part, I just had hot spots in this area here and here, so same spot either side. So after doing a couple sessions in these boots, my overall rating is going to be probably just a 6 out of 10, just a flat 6 out of 10. An okay boot. The idea was there when they had the Carbitex for the energy return, but wasn't really a big deal with or without it. So again, just a normal solid boot. If you guys like the review of the Speedportal 0.1, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us grow the channel. And let us know down below which pair you would like us to see reviewed next.